Hey, it's Lee. Welcome to Business Problems Solved. Today, it's just me, all by myself, for a couple of reasons, really. We've had an amazing run with some amazing guests, and I've not really recapped or reflected on some of the immense lessons that have been shared. And I wanted to just take a few weeks to um, share some of the messages and some of the lessons. And that's what we've got coming up over the next couple of weeks. We've got me chatting to you without a guest. So I'll apologise now. But I know some people like and prefer the shorter podcast with just me. I don't know whether that's just because it's shorter or whether there's, I've got no idea. Anyway, so this week, I want to talk about 2022. I want to talk about improvement, and I want to talk about some of the things that I have spoken about. I've shared posts on social media. I've got in my newsletter, and it's what I talk to some clients about. Communication. There has been a number of podcasts where I spoke about communication and the links of communication. And if we think about what Kev shared last week, that improvement and lean is all about, fundamentally, is all about teamwork, and not teamwork by a traditional sense, but teamwork in where I guess it's a little bit like Lencioni's five dysfunctions, where conflict is a positive thing, because it's not conflict where people are falling out and never going to talk again, but it's conflict where people have got different views and different opinions, but that's for the betterment of the solution, the betterment of the situation. And about, if you can get a group of people to fully believe in the direction that you're traveling and to have different opinions about that, then there's nothing better, because you don't want everybody to agree, because you want people to challenge the solution, challenge the situation, because when it's challenged, you think about it. When I've done some client work recently, and we've introduced a meeting structure that hasn't gone down really well with everybody, but I like that. And the reason why I like that is because we set it, and it's an iterative process that we're going through, and we've just started, engaged a number of people, developed something, introduced it, and started it, and some people don't like it. But the fact that they say they don't like it means we can understand it and we can address it. And when I talk about, or when Kev spoke about teamwork last week and the dysfunctions and having conflict, and that's a positive, and you want people to do that. I think the more conversation and communication we have, which is disagreement, but not in a personal way, it's about the situation, the better the solution that we're going to create off the back of it. So communication comes in all sorts of different forms. I say that one of the key elements of successful team, successful improvement is your ability to communicate with each other far better. If you've got, and you need to communicate more frequently than infrequently. Often I see teams having daily meetings or introducing daily meetings, but if they've got an idea, a situation, a problem, a challenge, then that's saved for a monthly board meeting or a monthly management meeting. So you're asking people to talk daily about situations and issues, but feeding it into a monthly structure. That person that had that issue at that point in time doesn't want to wait up to a month for an answer. You want to create a system that gets from bottom to top as quickly as possible, and as left horizontally and vertically. This communication needs to flow like water. So don't wait, or don't have a daily meeting and feed it into a monthly structure. Have a look at how all of your meetings fit together, and are you talking about the right things that allow different conversations to happen at different levels, but all aligned to have the same direction and goal for where you're heading. So it's quite a bit in that what I've just said there, really. Let me just recap. So we want to create a situation where It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have a different opinion. It's okay to be different because everybody is different, and we need to recognize that. And the ideas, suggestions, and solutions that people will come up with, they will develop them based on their previous experience and what they're seeing, what they're thinking, and what they're feeling at that point in time. And no two people have had the same exact experience to get them to the seat or the position that they're in at that point in time. But not everybody disagrees because they worry about that disagreement being deemed as negative. And the most senior person in the room, whatever idea they've got, that's the one that'll be that we'll go forward with. But no, conflict is positive. So we need to try to create the environment that allows those conflicting ideas, suggestions, arguments to come forward, but done in a positive and structured way. We need to recognize that everybody's different and value the input. So that's the first thing. Second thing is about joining the dots with communication. So when we're talking about joining the dots, that's horizontally and that's vertically. Don't start a daily meeting structure and feed the outputs of that into a monthly meeting structure, because you're going to annoy people. If they come up with ideas and suggestions or they need answers, they're going to be waiting up to a month for an answer. So how can you align and make communication flow like water and not have big boulders in it that have got to wait for X number of days, weeks, or months for an answer to come back? The more you get to talk about something, the easier it is to get it resolved. In fact, we've just turned the year out, we just started 2022, and often at the back end of a year and at the start of a new year, as humans, we become very reflective. We think about the year that we've just had, the challenges that we've had to overcome, and the goals and aspirations that we've got for this year. And that might start us with going to the gym in January, a new diet and stuff. And because of that reflective period and the goal setting, we have a little bit of motivation inside us that makes us go and do something different, go and do something new. But often it doesn't sustain. Often we might only go to the gym for a couple of weeks because we've not got that intensity and that reason to keep it going, because the reflective period was a few weeks ago. So what can we do to build in that reflective practice more systemically within our teams and within our organizations? And the more frequently we're talking about some of these things, the easier it is to make them sustain and become habitual. So if you didn't just reflect at the end of the year about your health, your wealth, your current situations, and put in place your goals for this coming year, if you did that more frequently than every December, you would have a greater chance of success because you're thinking about it more, you're talking about it more, you're reflecting about it more. And that's the same what happens in teams and in businesses, is because the more you talk about something, the more deeper you will understand it, the more granular you will get in terms of the root cause situation or issue. And that will allow you then to have a better solution. The more you talk about it, the more people you involve in it, the better it is, rather than just waiting every month to do it. So I guess after we've created an environment where it's okay for people to disagree, we need to make sure that we're joining the dots. This isn't, you don't do this in order, by the way. It's just another thing that I'm thinking. You need to join the dots horizontally and vertically and make sure information flows between these places to create the right conversations, to create a safe environment and a degree of conflict to develop better solutions, better ways of working. And we don't want to firefight. And what I often see is teams, organizations and businesses firefighting the issues that they've got. Well, they'll do one of two things. They'll either firefight or they will create an improvement project. It's like a long-term thing with a team to come. So I'm not talking about technological stuff, digital transformations and stuff like that. I'm just talking about operational things. And so you'll have one or the two, or one or the other thing, or you'll have both of these things. But in reality, what we want to do is we want to fix things daily. We need to have the metrics that allow us to see things before they become problems, that allows us to then address it before it becomes a fire. And then, or address it before there's a lot of little things that then requires a project with resource. And you do that by having these metrics and by fixing things daily. And you do that by having a daily meeting structure, rhythm, communication, and an environment where you can have these amazing, amazing conversations where people, it's all right to disagree, where it's all right to conflict, where it's all right to have different views and opinions. So I guess really my challenge for you, if you're listening to this and you work in an operation, you lead, or you deliver change, or you're leading an operational team, or leading any team, is just really consider the conversations that you have. Are they ones that encourage conflict and disagreement and different opinions? Or are they not? Are they a bit bland? Are we just like, do we all just agree because it's the easiest thing to do? And how can you create more safe conflict, more constructive conflict in your team meetings, in your conversations with your people that you work with? And then secondly, consider the meeting structure that you've got. Are you meeting every single day or not? And if you're not meeting every single day with your team, then what can you do to meet more frequent than you are doing already? Because I think when you meet every day, you will then start to see things, challenge things. They'll be front of mind. It's like if you, if for Christmas you wanted something that you believed was really, really rare. It's like if you, in fact, if you wanted to buy a bright yellow car, because you don't think there's very many bright yellow cars on the road, the minute you buy a bright yellow car, sit in it, drive it out of the showroom, you will see every third car is a bright yellow car, because you're wired now to, your RAS in your brain is there to recognize the things that you've been thinking about most. That's how we're wired. So if we're talking about things, blockers, issues, challenges, things that get in the way of us achieving what we want to achieve, you'll become more consciously aware of these things. And if you're doing that collectively as a team every single day, you'll identify more issues, more problems, more challenges, more opportunities, more ideas to get better. But then you want to escalate these in a timely fashion. So you need to look at the rest of your meeting structure to see that it actually supports you and that communication flows between all of the different levels sufficiently without any blockers, which allows you to get your responses in the right time to be able to do it. So those really are the three things I just want you to just reflect on based on the conversations that I've been having recently with clients, potential clients, friends, and also some of the conversations that we've had on the podcast. To start 2022, my challenge for you is understand the level of conflict and what you can do to create more constructive conflict in your team. And then what you can do to have more productive conversations on a more frequent basis. So if you do have a daily meeting now, is it actually, are you finding problems and challenges and issues every single day, or is it just a lovely little get together? What things can you do to prevent yourselves from firefighting, prevent yourselves from having to work on big improvement projects, where you do that by identifying the metrics that get in the way of you doing it, delivering what you're doing before it turns into a fire, and then working on small improvements every single day. So yeah, three things: more constructive conflict, more daily communication, and more connected team, or more connection between your team, other teams, and the levels of hierarchy within your organization today. That's what I would encourage you to do. That is the first one of, I guess, my little reflections, my little thoughts and summaries of a lot of the amazing conversations that we've had so far. As you know, my passion is change, it is leadership, and it is providing as much value as I can for people of this who listen to the podcast, subscribe to my newsletter, follow me on social media. So please, if you've got any questions, any comments, any challenges, anything you want to share, or anything where that I can help you, then please do let me know. I've got another couple of amazing series coming up. One of them with internal change agents, because I think they've got a different and a more difficult challenge than external change people. So I've got a series with some amazing internal change people coming up as well. If there's a series that you want me to focus on, if there's a problem that I can help answer, then please do just keep getting in touch. Thank you very much. Happy New Year, and have an amazing start to your 2022. Take care, and we will speak again very, very soon.